Hey guys, Kalai Brink, and I am an independent promoter with the awesome company Prove It. And today I'm here to talk to you about signs that you are fat adapted with the ketogenic diet, or even with using exogenous ketones to get into ketosis. So I'll talk about the different ways to tell that you're keto adapted or fat adapted, and just some different things that you might notice, some different ways to test, and all of that. So let's dive into it. So first off, congrats if you are starting the ketogenic diet, if you just started using exogenous ketones, or you're just looking into doing a better, healthier lifestyle for yourself. That's the first step. So comment below if you're just getting started, if you've been maybe doing the ketogenic diet forever, if you just started exogenous ketones or any of that, comment below so I know where you guys are at with things. And then many people ask me, how do you know when you are fat adapted? And there's way more benefits to being on the ketogenic diet or using exogenous ketones, being in a state of ketosis, other than just, of course, the fat loss. So fat adapted literally means that your body is it's burned through all of its, glycogen stores, which is the glucose that comes from eating carbs. And once your body burns through all of that, then it's going to start burning fat for fuel, which is when, you want to make sure you're eating enough healthy fats, because now that's going to be your body's primary source of fuel. So when you become fat adapted, that just means that your body is now shifting from burning glucose for energy into now burning fat as fuel. So that's kind of the goal of anyone that's doing the ketogenic diet, is going to be to try to get fat adapted. You're literally going to be getting your body burn through all those glycogen stores and start burning fat for fuel. So one way to clearly tell if you're doing this is that your appetite and your hunger is going to be a lot less for foods, because you're now fat adapted. Your body no longer has those blood sugar spikes that come from glucose, and you aren't noticing those cravings and stuff like that. Flip over my notes here. And this is my son that's here with me today. He'll be 2 months tomorrow, actually, so he helps mom with these videos sometimes. So once you deplete through those glucose stores, you're going to notice that, those intense cravings might start happening right when you're towards the end of, shifting into fat adapted. Your body's going to feel like, where are the carbs at? Where's the sugar at? Just because if you've been doing the standard American diet for a long time, which is eating lots of carbs, pasta, fast food, all that stuff, your body is not used to using fat for fuel. And when you burn through those glycogen stores and now are becoming fat adapted, you might feel some intense cravings for carbs and stuff like that. But just keep going. That means you're just about there. So once your body's fully depleted all those glycogen stores, and towards the end, like I said, you're going to have those cravings. But when you are fat adapted, you'll start noticing you're not really hungry anymore. You're not dependent on food other than when you're actually hungry. So a lot of us, including myself, usually, or a lot of times before I started getting into I use exogenous ketones, we eat because we're depressed, we're stressed, just out of habit. When you're watching TV, maybe you're snacking on something, but we eat when we aren't necessarily hungry, emotional eating, stuff like that. So running to pick up a cookie when something stressful happens. So you'll notice that you are going to start doing that less, and probably not even anymore. I don't even need to snack anymore. And when I drink my ketones, I am not even hungry until afternoon, after I drink them in the morning, because my body is now fat adapted and using those fat for energy. So you can check to see if you're in ketosis or fat adapted by using urine strips. You can order them off Amazon, but it's not necessarily the most reliable. It's reliable right away. But then as you go, your body just becomes really, really efficient in using those ketones to use as fuel and to burn fat for fuel. And, they might not show up in your urine, so it's not necessarily the most reliable long term. You can obviously, of course, do blood tests to see if you're in ketosis, but that's going to be more invasive and a little more expensive, obviously. So those are some different ways, but I think the best way, and the way that I go off of it, is just by, paying attention to how your body is feeling. Are you noticing, better mood, better energy? that you aren't craving stuff, that you feel full for longer. You know, pay attention to that to know if you're fat adapted. And using ketones and doing ketogenic diet, stuff like that is really great. Incorporating intermittent fasting with that. So that's just eating in a certain window of time. After you become fat adapted, you can include in intermittent fasting and kind of play around with that to maximize your results. So usually what I do, I don't obviously fully do intermittent fasting because I'm currently breastfeeding, so I wouldn't want to do that. But when you do start doing intermittent fasting, what you do, for instance, is drink your ketones in the morning and then don't eat until you're actually hungry. So a lot of us, you know, you'll wake up, say drink your ketones, then you have breakfast because that's just kind of your routine. But drink your ketones if you are doing the exogenous ketones, and then just don't eat until you're hungry. Oh my gosh, there's a big bug in here. A moth. So I lost my train of thought. Okay, back on track. Drink your ketones and then don't eat until you're actually hungry, which may not be until early afternoon. And say you eat at noon, then you might do like an 8-hour window of intermittent fasting. So you'd eat between noon and 8. That'd be your 8-hour window. So different ways to do it. I have a free Facebook group where in the files tab of the group, I do have information on how to do intermittent fasting. I also have like a keto lifestyle guidebook, some meal plans for a ketogenic diet if you're interested in getting started with that, and just a bunch of different resources in there. So I'll link that below, along with how, if you're interested at all in using like exogenous ketones, any of those, I have different 5-day, 10-day experience packs in a variety of different kinds. I will link that below as well. You guys can check that out. And if you have any questions at all about anything, just shoot me an email, ketonursekalai@gmail.com. I'll put that below as well. But I have tons of different resources to help you guys get started if you are new to this. If you're not, just know these are the different ways to tell if you're fat adapted. And then, like I said, including starting with some intermittent fasting in with maybe a ketogenic diet is going to help you even get more amazing results. So I've personally been using exogenous ketones. I did it while I was pregnant, and now while I'm postpartum, it'll be 2 months tomorrow. And I've gotten awesome results. I'm actually down 40 pounds, fitting back into my pre-pregnancy jeans. And, you know, obviously the fat loss is great, but it's also helped me a ton with just energy and focus and mental clarity and having the energy to keep up with a newborn and run a business. And I'm going to be going back to work full-time as a registered nurse. So to be able to do all that stuff, the ketones have kept me getting that energy and all that different stuff, and mood, better sleep, and like I said, I don't snack a ton, and all of those different amazing benefits other than fat loss. So like I said, if you have questions, just check out the links below, and I'd be more than happy to help. Otherwise, until then, subscribe, like this, comment below if you guys are just getting started or if you've been doing this for a long time, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Talk to you later.